You walk up to your tank one day and notice you have some dead shrimp. You're now wondering what could have possibly gone wrong and how can you fix the issue so this does not happen again. Well, I'm going to give you 8 causes, in no particular order, for why your shrimp could have died and how you can possibly resolve each cause. While we go over each one, enjoy watching some footage of shrimp in the background. So number 1 is new tank syndrome. Shrimp are sensitive to water parameter changes and can easily go into shock or die if there's a pH imbalance, drastic difference in water temperature, or traces of ammonia or nitrite. That's why it's important that when you set up a new tank, you let it go through the complete nitrogen cycle and establish some sort of balance before introducing any shrimp. This can take a few weeks, so patience is key. While your tank finds its balance, it's important to test your water on a daily basis to check for levels of ammonia or nitrite and perform water changes accordingly. You can use test strips or the API Freshwater Master Test Kit to test your water. Number 2 is improper acclimation. Improperly acclimating your shrimp before adding them to your tank is a sure way to kill them. Adult shrimp are more easily affected than juveniles. Your new shrimp are coming from completely different water parameters, and so you need to give them time to get used to your water parameters. To properly acclimate your shrimp, I suggest a slow drip acclimation process for at least 3 hours, which will guarantee you a high survival rate. You can check out the card in the top right corner for more information on my drip acclimation process. Number 3 is overfeeding. Overfeeding your shrimp can lead to water pollution and can cause spikes in ammonia and nitrite levels, which will result in death for your shrimp. As I mentioned earlier, shrimp are sensitive creatures and require stable water conditions. If you place food in your tank and none of your shrimp come to eat the food, you are overfeeding your tank. You have to remember that other than the food that you are providing, there's also biofilm, algae, dead plant matter, and other food sources available in your tank. If you have Caridina shrimp, the active substrate also acts as a food source. Depending on the size of your tank, look at feeding your shrimp every other day or even just once or twice a week. If you see any uneaten food after a period of time, it's best to remove it from your tank. Number 4 is water changes. Changing too much of your tank water at once and also filling your tank directly from your tap can kill your shrimp. Shrimp are sensitive to changes in water parameters, and by changing too much of the water at once can result in a pH imbalance and fluctuation in temperature. When you're doing a water change, replace anywhere from 10% to 20% of the water depending on your tank size. This can be done on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It's also best to have a separate bucket or container of aged water, as the parameters will closely resemble what you have in your tank. To create this, simply fill a bucket or container with dechlorinated water and allow it to sit for 24 to 48 hours. This will allow all the parameters to stabilize, and when you go to fill your tank, use the water from this reservoir. Number 5 is old tank syndrome. At a certain point, your tank may not be able to handle the amount of inhabitants in it due to the high numbers. This is more noticeable if you're a breeder. Your filter may not be able to cope with the amount of waste and won't be able to keep up. This will lead to a bacteria buildup, a rise in ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. At this point, you can experience massive death syndrome, which can result in most of your shrimp population dying off. To work around this issue, ensure you keep up with your tank maintenance. Gravel vac when you can while avoiding baby shrimp, and also avoid overfeeding. If you rely on sponge filters, you may want to look at getting a hang on the back filter if your tank is large enough to support it. Number 6 is molting issues. Shrimp are detritivores and opportunistic feeders. This means they feed on detritus, algae, biofilm, leftover fish food, dead plants, and tank mates. Not all of these may be available in every tank depending on how they're set up, and having them solely rely on scavenging will not benefit them, as they may not get the minerals they require to molt properly. Now, also keeping shrimp in the wrong water parameters can lead to them having molting issues. For example, keeping a Neocaridina shrimp in soft water will not benefit it at all, as it requires the minerals from harder water. The same goes with keeping Caridina shrimp in hard water when they require softer water. If a shrimp experiences an issue molting, it will ultimately lead to their death, as they won't be able to shed their exoskeleton. Unfavorable water conditions and mineral deficiency are usually the leading causes. To resolve this issue, keep your shrimp within the water parameters they require and provide them with food occasionally that will benefit them. This can include shrimp-only food, blanched vegetables, or frozen food. Just like you feed your fish, feed your shrimp and they will thrive in your tank. Number 7 is Planaria. Planaria are flatworms that are primarily seen in shrimp-only tanks. They can easily overrun a tank when overfeeding is involved and there is excess food buildup, or you do not have a regular cleaning routine. These flatworms leave a slime trail similar to that of snails. If a shrimp steps on it, they will get stunned. The planarian will then look for a soft spot to enter the shrimp's body and proceed to eat it alive. To prevent Planaria from building up in your tank, ensure you have a regular cleaning routine. If it is a shrimp-only tank, you can use products like No Planaria to kill these flatworms, but ensure you remove any snails you wish to keep. After a few water changes, you can place your snails back into your tank. If it is not a shrimp-only tank, you can look at getting fish that'll eat Planaria. Fish like rosy loaches, rasboras, and guppies, to name a few, will easily take care of the problem. And finally, number 8 is copper poisoning. Copper is a shrimp killer, but shrimp also require it to some degree. So how can it be beneficial and a killer at the same time? If you look at various shrimp and fish food, as well as some liquid fertilizers for your tank, you will see that they contain trace amounts of copper. This is not harmful to your shrimp as the amount of copper present in them is very low. Shrimp require trace amounts of copper as it's an essential part of their blood. Now on the other hand, if you have sick fish and are planning to treat them with certain medications, these medications can have a lot of copper in them, and dosing your tank with that much copper will surely kill your shrimp. To avoid killing your shrimp, always separate the sick fish and put them in a medical tank where you can treat them accordingly. Once they are healthy again, place them back in their original tank. One thing to note is if you do introduce copper into your tank, cleaning it completely will not get rid of the copper as it tends to get absorbed by the silicone to some degree. Over time, the silicone will release the copper into your water column, and if you have any shrimp in your tank, they could die off. You also have to be careful when buying a used tank, as you may not know if the previous owner introduced any copper into it. It's always best to ask before you buy. So there you have it, 8 causes and solutions for each one. I hope you enjoyed this video and were able to get something out of it. Stay tuned for my next video, but in the meantime, here's another one you can watch that's recommended by YouTube. My name is Andy. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.